neither one of these teams have played a map 4, you know, being that Fanshawe sitting 3-3 in map record, and the Canadore Esports are sitting 6-0 in map records. So neither team has seen a map 4. The Skyline, it's up for interpretation if we get there. It's going to be a protocol hardpoint to kick off this series for our day 3 of CCL, the 2025 season cash. And protocol going to be a really fun one because this is where we're going to be looking at those ARs to really take control of the series.
Ideally, you're trying to control a handful of areas on the map to kind of dictate the map. You want to get top zip control. That lets you look over P2 and even protect your team from the front. You want to get control of top house and big gun, as we'll look to see in mid map. But for now, Cure playing things low and slow, trying to catch this player top window is going to be noted. Pushing, contesting the point for a moment while the rest of his team gets into place. And with that kill coming in, now they're going to find themselves some early time.
I like this from the rookie. He's sitting in, soaking up that time for the fuel as the rest of them just sling out around him. Nice shots from Cam. Can he find 2? He cannot. So still here for fuel up to 15 seconds and a lot of time to grab here on this first hill of the game. Cam still trying to find some shots. 3 down for Candore's, and that's Cam now. He has to make it very aware that he needs his team to spawn up for this P2 rotation.
Most definitely going to need the team there. You're finding the kills mid-map, but again, you really do want that left side of the map to make for an easier transition over to P3, and you can also hold very well the time with that player top zip looking over P2. So, you know, as far as Canadore is concerned, you're not really on the preferred side. You can see them trying to take routes to push through with a quick 3 down. That'll be the green light for fuel to get in, garner some of this time, and as you can see, the big gun setup, the top window setup, both players on time. It's exactly what you want.
Yeah. Fanshawe looked good so far across these first 2 hills, fighting it for the front as well. And you can see this, the line of scrimmage set up with these red arrows is they got AR control towards top triple, full middle map control, and the SMG is just letting loose inside this. Just spawning so far deep in the back. They need to find some of these kills and escape, especially considering we're about to go to P3, and it's a full setup so far for fuel.
Full setup and nearly a full 60 garnered, but quickly across the map, Canadore is going to take advantage of the opening they have. Now that you've got Dark sitting top triple, he can kind of dance around, look to pick off these players, and his team is going to be spawning safe also. So a transition that maybe looked mixy for a second, they're at least able to get over and look to get spawns early on, but it's going to be Sus in the back, waiting for his team to find some kills, and this should lock spawns.
It's a sneaky play, and Sus should be able to pave some way for the rest of the team to start to fly on in. Kier up top, aims in hands. Will it be enough? Shots there, good. 3 down, make it 4. Can he find the rest? Tee up the spawn, not enough to hold on. And the break comes in, but the spawn's in the back, so Canadore Esports gonna have another shot at this. Sus, a lot of work to do around the outside of this hill. And it seems okay, 9-2. Making it 10-2. 5 in a row for Sus. He's tearing it up.
Oh man, and that just was not great for Canadore. You had the spawns in the back, but you got picked apart, and really just dominating is fuel. They are everywhere around the map. They are where they need to be. They're rotating timely also. You look at Sus and what he's doing. He's on a 7 spree, noted on a 4 of his own, and having his way here early on. 13-2 streaks nearly acquired, and scoreline continuing to be ran up.
Yeah, Canadore just struggling really to get anything going in this protocol. And again, just that kill feed lights up red. As Fuel Esports, they have full control of this money hill. And there is still a lot of time to just blow the series out of proportion. Sus, 14-2, might I add. Almost snaps to make it 15, but finally Dark's going to put that streak to rest. Cam now not able to break in, as it's still Fuel Esports in control of this time. 30 seconds that I'm sure Canadore want to fight for. So T, he's going to be the one to look for the break. 31 health, trying to stay alive in the back. Jackal off the reload, and looks like the team's going to get here to back him up for at least scrap time for Canadore.
Crazy start for Canadore, and you can kind of see by the scoreboard right how slow of a slaying performance it's been, but Fanshawe Fuel, they have applied pressure the entire first rotation. If you're Canadore, you take this as a reset, you chill the comms out a little bit, and you try to just chip away at this. You're not going to get it all back with one full 60. You just need to work, get the lion's share of time, work the strats that you need to. They've got good mid-map presence for now. They just have to find the picks behind it.
This is not something that we really got to see back in the first set of rotations from Canadore. They didn't get really any time off of P1, but a whole new look from them. They have the setup that they want, and some slaying is starting to pick up as well behind these players. Tatter is going to get caught getting aggressive in towards lockers. Dark as well. The Hellstorm from Sus finds not just one, but two. So it's a break out of their spawn for fuel. They're going to hop on for 20 seconds. Try to push this lead even further, and Canadore have to decide fast. Do you want to hit this or give it up and set up for two?
And ideally, you really want to push across the map here, and you can see that Cam's doing that, trying to get spawns, and wants to make this easiest for his team. Trust that they can look over the top, find a pick there, tries to get the other ult, but big gun, bonk, gonna take him down. And what you had tried to work for to make easier for your teammates, a route through the map, ends up falling short. So that's gonna be the one in time. Well over a 2.0 KD is scoreline 168 to 75, 100 points greater than that of Canadore, and the kill feed also tells you just why, but you're gonna rip off 3 straight kills if you are Canadore.
I mean, just look at the slaying across everybody on fuel. Positive by a landslide. Couple players nearly at a 2.0 KD. But it's really Sus that's been the difference maker. He's going to find 2. Not able to make it 3. Cam staying alive in the hill. Trying to get everything for Canadore. Going dark. Trying to find some exit kills, at least for Canadore to have a safe transition over to P3. But they still get the spawns into the back of Grandma's. T's going to try to make this heads-up play. See if he can pull some spawns now for the next hill. And that's a big win up top for Canadore to have a chance here.
And you're still spawning out, and that's just because you couldn't at least push to back stairs. It'll be a safe spawn for Sus, and if there's someone with a route closest to the hill, Sus is going to be the last person I want to tee off against. But again, here comes a quick 4v4 battle.
Noted. Rookie. So far, so good, and he's going to make it 16-9 for himself. T again, the last stand, it seems, for this hill time. As Dark's going to get overwhelmed towards those back steps, the spawns pull again for Fuel Esports. They're going to be able to reinforce this hill, and the slaying is making it even easier on the inside. They just look unstoppable, Cash.
They're completely unstoppable at this moment. This is about as squeaky clean of a hard point as you would want from top to bottom, whether it be slaying, whether it be map control, kill time, of course, following in tow. Fanshawe Fuel giving a masterclass of how to run protocol hardpoint. Canadore have had no answer. They've had sparks at some turns, but not quite enough to catch fire. As we see now, just 35 points away from closing this one out.
And it doesn't make it any easier when you got Cam and Tatter just having a little bit of a stinker in this game. Combined 18 and 41 between the two of them. And Fanshawe just taking advantage of that weakness. 230 to 98. Last chance for Canadore to make a statement here in protocol. Maybe a little bit of confidence heading into the search and destroy, but they need a break and they need it now. 10 seconds. Tatter getting ready to slide on in. T's gonna get caught towards the left side. Noted. Looking to put it away with 8 in a row. He's gonna look to get it done. Last chance to touch, but it doesn't seem like anybody's gonna get to the hill. And Fanshawe with a 100-point club to kick off week 2. Wow, what a statement.
A statement indeed that really leaves out, I'll speak for myself, but maybe even you, Colin, us at the desk speechless. An unreal performance to come out with for map 1 to continue this season in the right direction. If you wanted to make a statement around the league, again, it is a long series, but as far as hardpoints are concerned, a fantastic showing out of Fanshawe. You see the scoreboard, it's not pretty for the side of Canadore, and again, there was just so little they could do with how quickly, how alert, how clean the comms were out of Fanshawe Fuel. At every turn, they had an answer for what Canadore could throw at them, which was pretty one-dimensional gameplay. They really didn't have any lanes, any opportunity to throw kind of a curveball at this team. They were prepared every step of the way, and so a very deserving win for them and how they came out. It even feels like saying GG's go next is not quite enough for map 2. You don't expect this kind of performance in map 1 to slow down much, but as we always say, map 2's a reset map. You can slow things down and maybe get a grip back on things. Again, it's going to have to be a pretty quick, pretty serious talk in between maps to try to regain from that one.
Yeah, I think for, Fanshawe, when you're looking at the fuel and the way that they were playing from that, I mean, they got a great foundation in their program, especially considering the success we've seen from them as a Canadian college in past years for the CCL. I mean, they've been making strides towards that top 25 list. I mean, still definitely, off on the outside looking in a lot of people's eyes, but you can see with performances like this that they are trying to level themselves up. Sus looking great with the jackal in his hand. I mean, he looked really undeniable in a lot of those break plays. But when you look at Canadore Esports and the way that they started 2-0 last week, but definitely getting a little bit of a taste of what it's like to hit that next level for their playstyle in hard points. And it's not just the slaying, the rotations were lacking behind. You saw that a lot of the break attempts were solo efforts, and they just weren't able to solidify those spawns, especially over towards the back of P3. You could see that Fuel just had the ability to just non-stop hit that hill, reinforce, and just keep their numbers in favor. So you can see that there's still some fundamentals there for Canadore that are missing. It makes me worried for the Skyline Search and Destroy.
It truly does. And again, Search and Destroy and Hardpoint definitely can have, their opposite images of how they're played. That was a very fast Hardpoint, and it was very much dictated by how Fanshawe Fuel wanted to play it. Search and Destroy, of course, can be dictated by pace at times. And the part that, I'll piggyback off that I'm worried about is how quick Skyline can play, how that A site is everything. All 4 players for a lot of breakoffs run straight to that site. You either win or lose the kitchen battle, and a lot of times that can decide the round less than 30 seconds in. So this is definitely a map to be worried about, where Fanshawe can carry the pacing into a Search and Destroy. I really think maybe the best strategy for Canadore coming into map 2 is don't try to match that. Try to hold some irons, let them fly at you. Sus noted, very aggressive. Get to a spot you're comfortable, right, and let them run into your iron sights. Make them try to change their gameplay, and then go from there, because we can see the speed, at least in the hard point, they couldn't keep up with. So I hope they really just try to simplify the Search and Destroy and try to make it easier on themselves than anything.
Yeah, I mean, Noted and Sus are going to be flying after the way they played on that protocol. They're going to be feeling great going into a Skyline Search and Destroy, so that's a good call. And I'd like to see Canadore come into this with a little bit more of a slow play style. Absorb that pressure, throw it right back in their faces, and force the Fuel to make some adaptations heading into this one. Because Skyline, you look at this map and it's going to be just a grade A bang out. But you also look at Skyline and you know that there's angles where you can beat the offensive team or beat the defensive team on offense, and then set up and try to get those aims and positions to win those first blood battles. And if Canadore can do that, I mean, these are 2 teams that, are not going to be playing perfect Call of Duty tonight. It's the beginning of the season for CCL. There will be mistakes that you can take advantage of if you're Canadore. You just have to put yourself in the position to take control of those mistakes and punish Fuel when they do approach those.
That is the best way to put it. Make the map easy for yourself, and then, like you said, on top of capitalizing on those mistakes, then you can start to open up the map where, again, simply put, it does feel easier, and all of a sudden you're making Fanshawe kind of rethink their decisions or their break-offs. So it's not super complicated what they have to do to kind of bounce back in this map too. It'll be important to, of course, go 1 round at a time, make sure that you're not getting ahead of yourselves, and even if the score line gets a little out of hand, so long as there's still rounds left to be played, you're still in it. And so just making sure they don't try to bite off more than they can chew. You're not going to win it in a couple of rounds. You just need to work away at it and see what it looks like after 6 to 11 some odd rounds. So for Canadore, definitely not out. It was a slap in the face for map number 1, but it's something they really can bounce back from. And I guess to pivot on whatever there is left to say after that map 1 showing for Fanshawe Fuel, you're going to want to apply pressure. You're going to want to keep that pacing up. Noted and Sus are such high IQ players. You could tell with the routes they were taking, the angles they were attacking hills. They're not going to be duped easily. And I think, they have the idea that maybe irons will be held, and they have to read that. The gunny's good enough that they can maybe snap and find the kill, even if they're caught off guard. But again, with the intelligence of those players backed by their ARs, Bonk and T, it's going to be quite the challenge for them to be slowed down. Yeah,
I mean, the way that Fuel are playing too, I mean, this is a team that wants to become a top 5 team in Canadian collegiate Call of Duty. And with performances like that, by all means, I mean, they could get it done. I mean, teams that you have to obviously worry about would be, Conestoga, St. Clair, for sure. I mean, even at times, I think that University of Windsor team in the past was a very strong team. But then you look towards, a team like the Brock Badgers, who have a fantastic AR line on BO6 that we saw, back in the C3L land that we held at Conestoga just earlier this year. And that Brock team is looking good as well. So this Fuel team, mean, with performances like that at a sus and noted, and, you know, having, you know, even Cure just rotating through the map and locking down those spawns, this is a team that, in my mind, has the potential to even break into that, you know, top 4, top 3 standing for CCL, at least in a Canadian aspect when you're looking at this. And I think that whatever strides that this team is building on heading into the 2025 season, they're making the right ones.
They really are. It's something where it's a long season. They have a lot that they'll do wrong, a lot that they'll do right. And again, it's just kind of keeping a level head throughout all of that. Like you said, this team's got big aspirations, big goals. They've shown us some really good things to kick off the season. And of course, tonight, off to a wonderful start as we finally make our transition to map 2, Skyline Search and Destroy. For Fanshawe Fuel, it is keeping gas on the fire. It is continuing to push the pace that they did map 1.
Yeah. For
Canadore Esports, you are trying to slow things down. Whoever can win that battle surely walks away with this map, as it's a slow approach towards the site. For Fanshawe Fuel, already active. Fortunately, you trade things out to start.
Put fuel to the flames, and I know it is going to elevate this team. You know, I talked about these Canadian schools that Fuel want to collapse. You got to put Humber in that conversation too this year, so a lot for Fuel to watch out for in terms of competition here in the north. But when it comes to Canadore Esports, it was a bloodbath inside the protocol hard points for Search and Destroy. Definitely looks a lot slower, so you can see that there's a little bit of a leash on these players' cash, but will it be enough for Canadore to find an opening? Sus is just waiting for his chance to see if he can get this bomb down.
Oh, and that's what makes me nervous as well, is when Fanshawe Fuel slows down, now that gives an opportunity for Canadore to make a mistake. Didn't see him. Info starting to be relayed, though. You have the P1 cross covered out of dark, so again, you're not in a bad spot, but Sus gonna rip off a couple of players. Worst case scenario, 1 versus 2. Bomb has to go down here in the next 10 seconds. Not going to be the case. Dark taking a bit too much time, trying to clear his angles. And now the collapse on the B site should be in if he works towards this bomb.
You can see that Fuel just swinging things together. Dark, 5 seconds. No time to plant. The objective out of the question. So Fuel down to 2v3, managed to bring things back from Sus's immaculate 2-piece on that site. I got worried for a second because he slid out to the bar. He had no idea that player was behind the bomb. He still gets a 2-piece out of it.
And like we talked about, even if caught off guard, Sus most notably has the gunny to be able to kind of make the best of a bad situation, and does that in round number 1. Offensively, Fanshawe Fuel get to make their best push towards this A side. Camo connect though with attack, and another kill quickly comes in behind us. So all of a sudden you're in a 2 versus 4 if you are Fanshawe Fuel. Bonk working the back line, maybe trying to watch for a flank, but you've got that A site locked down if you are Canadore. Now you're waiting for Cure to get into play. Try to work some picks, but already 60 seconds left in the round.
4v2 for Canadore. I mean, this has to be a round win to keep things feeling good. Kier's going to give himself away. Bonk, top bedroom. Kier's going to get caught by Dark getting aggressive through closet. And it looks like with that stun check, that should be the round, but Bonk's at least going to prolong things. 1 versus 3 now. Would be an ace clutch. Would be probably a top 1 play of the week if he gets it done, but
the discipline. I mean, just the discipline out of Canadore. They didn't get antsy. They didn't try to take gunfights. They didn't have to. Look, as a color commentator, I'm happy to see them make the game easier. I mean, that's exactly what they needed to do. And at least through these first couple rounds, they're executing. Sure, they fall in round number 1, but usually players in that situation, let's go hunting. It's just 1 player, and then you end up throwing maybe individual 1v1s at someone that can pull off a clutch. So Canadore, they say, hey, we're going to hold our irons. We know where the play is going to work to happen. You end up buying enough time and able to work that last kill. So they tie things up 1-1. Try to give it another crack offensively.
Dark looking for that first blood. Trading shots. Finds it with the wall bang. Sus looking to equalize, but Tatter catches it. There's that stoppage from the aggression that you're looking for. Cash 3 down immediately for Fuel. It's all down to Cure. He's going to give himself up. Low on health, and the chase is on. Gonna have to be an ace clutch again, but in a lot more difficult of a situation. Not able to trade out that kill right away. He's gonna be caught rotating through Catwalk, and Canadore putting up 2 quick rounds.
And you said it best. Punish and shot fuel where they make mistakes, capitalize where they leave openings, and they've done just that here. Tatter in a great position, playing P1 hot tub, watching the cross to the bomb site. There's just so much information you can get from that one spot. Able to clean up the last kill also. You rip off 2 straight rounds, get yourself a 2-1 advantage. Players on a couple streaks too. I mean, a couple 3 sprees between Dark, T, Cam's got a 2 spree of his own, so you're going to keep working at that. But you're also going to keep working at the strategies you have that are going well for you to push Piano Cure. Take him down once or twice. He's not going to lose too many of those consecutively now, as noted, already through enemy lines.
Yep, noted has a chance to completely put this round away. Tatter's going to get caught. Sus following it up, and it's all on the back of Tatter, who is on the flank. Map's completely flipped out. And Fuel have the information too, and where he's going to be approaching this retake from the wall bangs. Gotta get away from that Semtex, and he will be able to, but how do you even think about breaking through this one?
Yeah, I'm not sure that you do, just given that all you're going to do is shoulder. If you're sus, you know exactly where he is, top cat. Given that the gunfights were taking place top cat, there's just too many open windows and too much distance to close, let alone with an AR, so you take care of business and response. If you're Fanshawe Fuel, it really has been a slowed down search and destroy, a bit more methodical out of either team. We haven't really seen an all-out 4v4 bang out where 2, 3, 4 players fall at a given time. It's just been Canadore kind of staying on top of trades, barring that last round. They've done a good job at keeping themselves in it and slowing things down with a couple players falling. Fanshawe Fuel, though, respond accordingly. Now defensively, you can see it's aggressive through bedside, but Tatter going to make him pay initially.
I feel like Noted just got fried. I didn't even see a hit marker. You went fast. Now Sus has a chance to completely decimate this post plant, as he has completely slipped the net undetected. It looks like Cam is going to be full rotating all the way back. He's going to get some good timing on it, and Sus gets caught before he can make a play. So 4v2. Panthers in control. Here and Bonk having to go above and beyond to see if Fuel can flip this lead into their favor. But as soon as you jump over the edge, T's going to put you in the grave, and Fuel get nothing done in the defensive side. So Canadore stay in the lead, Cash, and it just seems like their offenses are so clean.
They're just executing very well. It seemed like in the hard point, they were just caught off guard, maybe watching the wrong thing. They very much seem in control here in the search and destroy, and though it's 3-2, you know, Fuel's going to continue to battle in it. And at any point, from what we've seen, right, either team can rip off 2-3 straight rounds. So battling back and forth, but like you said, it's clean, it's well executed, and as long as they can keep their composure, they're making good pace to win this.
Tough stun. Noted. In behind, but Cam still finds the first blood. That's bombed down. Sus finds a trade, but Dark right around the corner going to be able to keep the numbers for Canadore. A little bit of a back and forth. 2v2. Tatter wants to get aggressive on this. I think he knows Bonk is at least caught, but Bonk's going to be able to get away. Now on your mind right now, if you're Fuel Esports, is trying to get that bomb back.
Retrieval mission underway. Map flip for Fuel underway as well, but again, the whole the trigger discipline. No information given. The call's going to be to Tatter. Look low, look helipad,
Tatter?
and I mean, now we're just running around one another.
Okay, they had to see this one. Bonk shoots him in the back. 1v1, Dark with the heady, and he's just in no man's land. Where are we going?
What
You gotta slide to cover. You can't just slide in the open like that.
Yeah, just at first you think, okay, Tatter gets the worst of the timing. The comms come in, you see him turn on flat. He's wrapping back stairs. Ends up overlooking it, unfortunately. You're quickly there for the trade, and what is the technical 1v2? It's 4-2. We stand in the round count. Dark out to 6-1 on a 3 spree once again. The rest of the team all positive also. Sus noted the two players who played really well in the hard point, again giving their best effort, but nothing going their way as the ARs are simply running this map.
Yeah, Canadore in control. Can they make it? 5-2. Noted. Looks like he wants to get into this play, but pretty sure he's been spotted, though. Dark's going to fall, and now Noted free reign to get aggressive around the side. Cam's going to fall. Fuel finally with an advantage. A chance to get around on the board. And you think that this has to be a round. If not, you're looking at Canadore with full momentum to put this one away. Bonk on the disengage. Now it's a 1 versus 3. And there is just nowhere to go for the Panthers.
And you stop the bleeding for a moment as well. Like you said, the start of the round, it could be a chance for a 5-2 lead, and boy, does that look far more daunting than a 4-3. And on the back end of what Sus and Noted were able to do, getting close to handshaking rounds once again. 4-3 is going to be the count. Canadore still with the lead again. We said, can they keep their composure and finish out this hard or the search and destroy strong? We're getting into the closing moments of it.
First blood from Sus. And look at this from the Fuel. Full catwalk control. Sus makes it happen. 9 HP. Sneaks away with another kill onto Tater. And it looks like Fuel not done with this search just yet, Cash.
Not quite finished, and it seems like Sus has really come alive here. Getting back into his groove, getting back into his rhythm. Now calling the shots for the team. Hey, let's bully out Kitchen. Let's get this bomb down quickly. And sure, we said draw irons if you are Canadore, but they could not be backed up further on their spawn side, and they've got to start making moves. Of course, Cure all the way in the back. It will be no easy opening here. You'd like to see them play together, but at the same time, they need to find some picks quickly.
Cure's gonna wake up right now, Cash, if Canadore wants to win this search. 2-7 is not having a good time on Skyline. As Dark's gonna get seen, looks like everybody's gonna turn around. Still a chance to find this kill. Makes it a 1 versus 3, but that's all you're gonna find in the round. Fuel bounce back on Skyline, tie us up 4 apiece.
Here we go. Again, it was just 4-4 a couple rounds ago out of Sus. Quickly is at 10-4. And like we said, getting kind of back into the flow of things. It's taken to the later portions of the search and destroy, but a better late than never. You were 2 rounds away if you're Canadore. Now all of a sudden, they've tied this game up once again. 2 rounds remaining for either team to gain to either tie the series up 1-1 and we to get that map 4 Skyline hardpoint, or Fanshawe Fuel put themselves closer and closer to a 3-0.
Noted. Again, it looks like he just wants to thrive in the chaos as triple SMG set up a bonk to go down. Now Noted in trouble, still finds a kill onto Dark. And you can see that kill feed light up white for Canadore. The Panthers in control of A. Bomb's gonna go down, and they want to take this to map point. Try to equalize this series. And it's Cure. And I was worried that maybe I called it out before even seeing that the scoreboard was maybe incorrect. But he is struggling here.
What a bounce back it could be to pull off a 1 versus 3 to send your
In 27 seconds?
point. Yeah, no, not quite the case. If you'd found that pick and maybe got to work forward, it could have been a better chance, but tight ankle, the shoulders, the shimmies, gonna give info, but not gonna give you a kill. Now with just a few seconds to even hop the bomb,
I
let
need
alone
Cure.
find these kills.
Turn into Celium on Volt right now, but not gonna happen.
Not quite.
5-4 for the Panthers, Cash. And after watching what went down on Protocol Hardpoint, maybe it was just not their map. Maybe that's an auto VO from now on.
I would certainly think so. And again, they also could have came out flat, right? It just could have been one that, you know, you're just off to a slow start. But they trust in their search and destroy ability. In Fanshawe, they've come back. They tied it. It was 4-2 at one point, so they've been chipping away at it, but Canadore now, perhaps with a breath of relief, put themselves on map point first, as they just need one more to close it out, but it's Sus. quickly on the move,
Look
trying
at this.
to not let this go.
Bad
Noted
D.
gonna get back down.
He's smarter than that. Still first blood from Sus. Can he make it 2? No, caught out. That's Dark going to be able to shut down the pressure from that sub. And it just seems like that's step 1 to putting down this Fanshot team is getting Sus off the board. But now it's Noted to step up. He's going to open up a route to this A-bomb.
Oh, bonk. Quickly, team shots with Noted to get the kill. 1 versus 3. We've seen now 3 consecutive rounds where that's been the case. Either team in those situations. Cam trying to get tricky on a route. Maybe can be behind. You're in good spots for the cross, so maybe if you can push through grass side, he could find a pick, but never mind. It's going to be the pick through 3 with P1. Finds the quick snap. Maybe thought he pushed Jim. Now going to work 1 versus 2. Going to try to clear out P1 again, but doesn't quite realize both players are still in kitchen.
It's going to be a tough one, but a winnable round for Cam. Both members going to give him the 1v1 before Cam really has to take the duels. 17 seconds, though. He's got to make this work. He's got to do it fast. Fox going to be spotted. And there's the swing from the second one. Fuel, it is fundamental to put this to round 11. In the 2v1, they play their corners. They wait for the information. They swing it together. And this one is going the distance on Skyline. Color me surprised after watching what went down in map 1.
Most definitely. And honestly, color me a little surprised given how strong Canadore have performed here. They were up 4-2 at one point. Been 1 round to 3, favoring Fanshawe. So it's been the tale of map 2. Composure, composure, composure. Sus, First Blood Reaper as of late. It's been the ARs, Dark, Hater, who have been able to really take care of things. And now it's aggressive through B Catwalk, but you need that player top cat to fall first. So they throw the stuns and nade. They end up backing down. Now they're going to try to work things another angle.
Seems like for Canadore, I mean, First Blood would do wonders in this round. It looks like Sus is going to be the first one to try to make a move. And there's his first victim. Shots to the wall. Going to land it. It's Cam to fall. Or sorry, T. And First Blood's going to get that bomb down at A. Fuel just looking to steal this search away. Tater now. Across the top. Can he set things up for a little bit of a pinch? Sus looking to do the same, and Tater and Dark both going to be able to answer things back. Noted. Back on the flank and equalize 2 versus 2. 24 seconds. Bonk. Sitting inside this site, and he is just so active. So worried at where they're going to come from, but Tater's going to catch him 1v1. Cam, 15 seconds. He can't get it done. And Fanshawe rip it away from Canadore in a round 11.
Oh, and I can just feel, oh, and anyone, Noted, having stuff back, right? Able to snap the 2-piece. I mean, what a read, awareness. Peppers in a couple more for good measure. Whew. Round 11, like you said, like we see here, you're even having a slow map still able to, you can just tell the impact these subs have, especially on a map like Skyline, but yeah, a map 2 that you should have walked away with. It ended up being 4 rounds to 1 that you were able to take after the start you had if you are Canadore. Colin, that felt like, if not now, then when we go back to a respawn, that Search and Destroy, they look very strong on, at least in a way to answer back how the map 1 performance was. Now we go back to a respawn on a map like Vault that is very... can be very lopsided at times. So given what all we've seen, briefly, what's your consensus going into map 3?
I mean, you need to really figure things out if you're Canadore, especially in this respawn, because you had that Search and Destroy. You kind of tossed it away, allowing Sus to go rogue the way he was. You're giving those routes wide open in the search, and you get punished for it. And now you're on the doorstep of a 3-0 sweep. And you're going back to a respawn like you said. It's worrisome after watching the hard point and the way it was, because just Canadore were so behind the curve on a lot of adaptations in that map number 1. Will it change in map 3? I'm not really sure. And Now we look towards the search and destroy recap on this skyline, and even just take a look at where Canadore was for a majority of this game. I mean, pretty much every single round they win, you get first blood. The only, round that you're thinking of is back in that round number 7. You get that first blood on attack. You have a chance to put it away, but it just seemed like Fuel were always able to make it mixy towards the back half of that skyline, and it just didn't seem like Canadore could keep up in those chaotic moments.
I agree completely, and I think round 7's also where Sus kind of caught fire and again got his team pulled noted along to get back into the map too, and from there it was how could you handle those two, and it just got to be a little bit too much.
Well, Cash, I mean, Vault Control, we're heading to where Fuel said it's their favorite map, not favorite map mode combo, but, they love Vault, and now they're looking to put another win in their column, a bounce back after losing last week, and see if they can go 2-1 here in the CCL. For Canadore, it's got to be a reverse sweep if they want to go 3-0 and stay flawless here. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be back. Vault Control on the other side. Welcome back, everybody, to the CCL Week 2 coverage. My name's Seymour. With me is Cash. We've been going through a little bit of a clash in Canada, up in the north, Cash. And so far, Fansha has had everything over Canadore Esports. I mean, I'd say, for one thing, Canadore had a chance to put that search and destroy away. I mean, they were looking so good until you saw Sus come through in takeover mode. And if we get that Sus like we saw in Game 1, in Game 2 towards the end, and it really just seemed like Canadore at times can't keep up with that.
It's difficult when those submachine guns like Noted and Sus play as quick as they do. Like you said, it's hard not only as a team, but players in the submachine gun position to keep up with someone like that if they haven't been able to keep toe-to-toe from the start. So map 3 respawn, I know a lot of the times here on the desk we like to say, oh, if you go down 0-2 to this team, it's dangerous, but given how in control of map 2 they were, it's definitely tough to see them down the barrel of an 0-3 having to reverse sweep here. Again, they could surprise us once again in this control. I know that map 1 is hard to forget as far as kind of that benchmark we have for them in respawn, but the way they came out in search and destroy, they could have just had a flat start. They might have figured things out and kind of got into their gameplay. So I'm very excited for this Vault Control and how again they opt to play it, because we've kind of laid out up, down, left, right, center what they need to do to slow down, bounce back, regain, go out and play your COD. Search looked good, it looked confident, it looked comfortable. You lost composure at the end and you lost the map. Therefore, it's just been Fuel with confidence boost after confidence boost. When you have 2 submachine gun players you can trust that much to kind of will you back into a game, you don't really feel like you're going to lose in many aspects.
Yeah, and it seems like we got a little bit of a jump start into that map number 3, folks, as we're getting the teams to lobby back up and kickstart that Vault Control again. One thing that makes me worried, Cash, going into this map is that Protocol and Vault are very similar in terms of when you look towards the SMG presence, especially in terms of when you look at that Vault spawn trap on the offensive side that can happen. You look to that Fuel and you think that if Fuel is going to be starting on defense, it might be a little bit cooked if you can't get control of shutting down those subs. And even when you do shut them down, you try to get over towards A and you stack that zone. If you don't have somebody in towards the catwalk, if you don't have somebody watching the flank or picking up the mid-cut through P3, there's so many angles for these subs to get active and break these control zones. And it has me a little bit worried for Canadore in terms of not just slang, but in communication on if they're going to be picking up these routes. Because if you're Canadore and you're thinking, okay, one thing that we didn't get right in Protocol is the slaying. That's not the case at all. I mean, you weren't getting spawns, you weren't picking up routes, you weren't, in situations and putting yourself in positions where you were denying Fuel that map control. So you look at Vault, it's going to be very similar to Protocol. If you can't find that communication to make sure that you are watching these lanes, it's going to be a scary one for Canadore if they can't, figure that out.
I definitely think that's the best way to put it coming in for, again, what Fanshawe can do. Because if you look, again, it's the submachine guns for Fanshawe, it's the ARs for Canadore. And I think that's kind of going to be their opportunity to maybe take control of things. the routes for the submachine guns are going to be everything. I would trust maybe at this point for the ARs of Canadore to kind of dominate in that battle as far as 2 versus 2 goes. So defensively, when you're sitting top R, you know, whenever you're top cat trying to pinch these players and trying to slow down the submachine gun push, that's definitely going to be an advantage for Canadore. Like you said, communications, picking up the routes effectively is going to stop these rounds from exploding in favor of the submachine guns. But I think the ARs you can rely on for this Canadore esports team. You can kind of let them pave the way for you, maybe overlook you, give your submachine gun some routes as well. But again, comms are going to be everything for Canadore to make sure that they, you know, cross their T's and dotted their I's, make sure they don't have sloppy communication and end up letting Fanshawe Fuel make bigger plays than they're already capable of.
Yeah, and that's going to be Cam and Tater that we're looking at to open up those lanes for the Panthers. For Fuel, I mean, it has just been smooth sailing throughout this series. I mean, a little bit of a bump in the road towards the start of that search and destroy, but towards the end of it, I mean, we noted Kier wasn't having the best skyline. Towards the end of it, Kier was fine. He was picking up his lanes, finding some kills here and there, and allowing for Sus to go rogue. And even if Sus didn't pick up those kills, Boink running that third sub, noted right behind them, you had presence and pressure there if you're Fuel. So heading into this map 3, Fuel looking for the sweep. Canadore looking to shut things down. And they're going to be starting off on the attacking side as well. So this is where we're going to be looking at the Panthers to see if they can slow the roll and see if you can win a easy defensive side.
Maybe an unmuted mic would help Colin as we're
I was going to say, are you muted?
Yeah, comms back from the top. So, yeah, as I was kind of saying, just to spark noted up, ARs definitely paving way. But Fanshawe, they do a great job in responding. They got a 3 down, really didn't do too much behind it. Tried to set up some kind of lane opportunity for them defensively, but nothing came of it as it's a quick 3 down in response. And now all of a sudden, you've got some footing on this map.
You do. Canadore going to be inside the zone. First segment already picked up, and you can see Fuel are looking to respond. Double swing towards Catwalk. Nobody's going to be paying attention to that at all. So T in a little bit of trouble. Bonk up top finds one. You can see the follow-up is fantastic for Go Down. Now 25 seconds off the spawn. You're spawning up towards P2. Bonk's going to be able to catch this one.
Able to make the read. Now able to hold the iron and try to cut these players down. A couple slip through. It's going to be through Vault. They have to make the push. Again, you also catch a player trying to get around through Cat. United work and he picks. You have 10 seconds left and you get the clock stopped over towards B. So decision time for Fanshawe. If they look to clear this A site now, all eyes towards B.
Yeah, all eyes on B. You need the players off spawn to see if they can get over towards A as fast as possible. But it's Kier trying to cut off those respawning players, drain that clock even further. Tater's gonna jump in, but it's the Lion's Den. For Fuel, they shut it down. Canadore, I mean, that could have been a lot worse than what it was. They struggled to get on that zone in the first place, so finishing that with 2 segments, you're not gonna be happy for it, but at least it's not nothing.
It's not nothing, indeed. It's something they can walk away with and build upon their next offensive round. Had a situation where, again, they found a 3-4 down. They were able to jump on the zone and it just couldn't win those last couple of gunfights off spawn for them to get that last tick of progress. You try to break off, get things going towards B, and again, just not enough coordination, not enough time to work off spawn, running into irons of the Fanshawe Fuel ARs. Now defensively, they need to answer with a big performance as they were only able to secure 2 ticks. Fuel, I'm going to try to make a bigger statement than that.
See Fuel quick to the gates. And out they go. Sus looking to get aggro. Noted following it up. U is going to be cleared, and you can see a little bit of pressure onto the spawns of Canadore from Sus, but it's not really going to pay off, as you can see some big wins coming out from Canadore on the opposite ends, but it's going to be cleaned up. 3 go down, and now we're going to be hopping on towards A.
So us doing a good job taking up space, trying to get eyes on the spawn side of Canadore, but quickly getting sniffed out. And now, Penge back towards the A site, clearing off this last player. But just like that, Fanshawe off spawn, To get a couple players in the mix once again. Gonna slow things down after finding that last one. Bongo Connect out to 9 and 5. Trying to lock down B Street. Maybe they wrap this push over here if he can find another pick. Clock is stopped once again. A 1v1 via Cat towards Vault for the A site. It's going down. You're gonna win it if you're Fanshawe Fuel. B Street gets cleared. Now off the respawn block. Canadore once again pushing it.
Stack on A. And it doesn't look like T's going to be able to stop it, so A gets secure. That's a tier advantage for Fuel heading into the next round. And a chance at an offensive round now is they're going to be able to have a quick transition to this B zone. Big cleanup there from Dark. He's going to slide over towards Vault, see if he can do some more damage and hold off this line of aggression from Fanshawe. As you can see, some of these red arrows are now looking towards the respawns, but Cure's going to be caught. Canadore going to be able to fight for this B zone.
Kind of stagnant. Stalemate working across here.
3 down.
This top art's going to be rift to pick. Like you said, 3 go down. You stop the clock. You're trying to work this first tick of progress. You have players cutting off sus with an AR now. Very problematic for Canadore as the stack is end quickly. So is the second pick. 1 more to go. You have to fly.
Gotta go. Third tick. Here it is. Contest is out. It'll be enough. The knife from T. And it is. They stay alive. Second segment was locked. Third one's going to be neutralized. 9 playing 15. A minute 12. It is going to have to be systematic from the Panthers now. As Sauce is going to be spotted. 13 health. He's on the run. Can he get away? No. Tater's going to clean that one up. Kira has a chance to blow this setup up. And there it is. 2 kills from Kira. This could be a chance for Fuel to jump at the opportunity. But nobody's here for the follow-up.
Laying low. Trying to wait for a timing to push this ARP, but you've flown out of the top. You get back on this site. It's going to be here waiting for the timing to pinch. From the top, it's going to connect for 1, going to connect for 2. That's 3 down in the feet along with Sus, the last player. Nowhere to be found. Tater getting chased down from behind. Noted, taking care of business. This third tick of progress is coming in clean. 2-0 advantage. Fanshawe Fuel wasting no time trying to close the door on this series, Colin.
And by all means, Cash, I mean, it's not the cleanest offensive round from Fanshawe, but if not for Kier, that is probably a round win for Canadore. I mean, you sneak it behind Art, and you find 2 kills over towards that B zone. You stay alive long enough to, again, just play coy, allow for the retake to kind of process for Canadore again. You pop up for another 2-piece, and it seemed like Canadore had no communication whether or not that player in Art was cleared or not. And Kier definitely wasn't. So 4 kills towards the end of that round from Kier that completely secure an offensive round for Fanshawe and now sets them up for a 3-0, not just in the control, but in the series as well.
Response has to come quickly. It has to come now. Again, just not great showing for him here as the rest of the team's trying to carve their way through the map, give themselves any opportunity, any opening they can. The reload not quite done in time. Orkier is able to find you. Top cat control check. Working through mid-map. They're looking to clear it out. Noted in the spawn side. Sliding around, dancing around. Indian flow state here. Will connect with the pistol, but the nade takes him down ultimately. You're in the spawn side. On 5 lives already, and ooh, this does not get easier for you.
It is just layers and layers of pressure from Fanshawe Cash, and it just doesn't seem like it's getting any easier for Canadore to break out of the spawn here now with a Jackal. Shots like that, what are you going to do if you're Cam? In every corner that you cross, there is a player sitting in it. T's on the hunt, but Kier heads up. He's going to let him know. 17 and 8, 8 in a row. Kier having his way with the Panthers. And it just doesn't seem like this is going to be on the table for Canadore. As there's 16 seconds left, it's one last overextension coming out from Tater to hop over towards this A zone, but he's going to need some backup. As you can see, T with a few kills to at least relinquish some of that pressure from Tater, but will he be able to win the fights? He is not. Sus looking for the last nail in the coffin. As it looks like Fanshawe going to be able to elevate their lead in the CCL from a 1-1 standing to a 2-1 standing after their first match here in week number 2 with 7.1 seconds left as a 7v19. I'm not sure how you claw this one back.
I just let myself imagine it for a second, how fun that would be. But yeah, no, the collapse coming in mid-map, you've got to win a handful of gunfights, you're outnumbered. Noted kicks things off. Gator, sure, quick trade, but it's going to be the bunny hop, it's going to be Sus taking care of business. You don't know where he was coming from if you were Cam, as you tried to find a kill. And that'll do it, Colin. I would say a little pre-fired, but you nailed it. You can't claw back from this, even though they were on both sides for a moment. And you improved to 2-1 if you're fan shot fuel.
What, like 22 and 10 from Sus, 21 and 10 from Noted, 20 and I think 11 from Bonk towards the end of this map. They were just on fire in terms of slaying in the respawns. I mean, Protocol was quite similar to this one. We look back at that, and yeah, 20 and 14 from Noted, 20 and 11 from Bonk, 22 and 10 from Sus. Cure, 19 and 11, went on that 8 spree. Actually, I think it was a 9 spree towards the end of that map. And Canadore, there's a lot to say from their respawns today. The Search and Destroy looked very good against Fanshaw, but when it came to the respawns, it definitely looked like a little bit of a skill diff in terms of the gunny. Yeah,
and I even think, sure, at a few turns, it definitely was gunny as far as being able to snap, maybe find a couple more players than you're expected to in a given gunfight. I think you hit it perfectly going into that. It's just, there was a breakdown in the comms. It was hard for them to keep track of these players, especially with how fast they move around the map. But I just think if they can kind of call out what they're watching better, call out where they spawned, and I know it's control when you're thinking, well, there's only a handful of spots, but you call out where you spawn, you know exactly what angles they're holding to block that spawn. Why you're spawning back P2 is, again, because they're sitting ammo or because they're sitting back vault door. It's just things that situationally make the game better for yourselves to know exactly what's going on and allow you to kind of pick these players off and work out a spawn easier or work a B street push easier if they're overextended on the other side. A lot of levels to it, a lot of elements to it, and again, for Canadore, they just weren't able to piece it all together. And of course, as you mentioned, the slaying, when you are not able to find those kills, you get frustrated in the comms, things start to fall apart, and it's definitely hard to regain from that.
Yeah, looking back at the series too, I mean, what could have been with that Skyline Search and Destroy going over towards Canadore Esports, but Fuel stays strong, not just in terms of slaying, but mentally as well. The bounce back in the Search and Destroy gives way to a 3-0 sweep, and looking at this series, that is going to be a very good series in terms of confidence heading into the rest of this week for Fanshaw. A lot to be worked on, like Cash said, from Canadore Esports, but in the Cash, this is still very, very early on in the series. Or in the season, there was a lot of time to make these adaptations if you're Canadore Esports. And I mean, with that too, you know, come I think week 8 or week 4, there's going to be a switch up in the divisions, and then you're going to be able to have a little bit more competition that's a little bit closer to you. You're going to be able to nurture your team and maybe grow in terms of you know, maybe move into future seasons or the rest of it as well. But I like what we're seeing out of Fanshaw for today. I think this is a team that a lot of people in the division will be able to kind of look at as a threat from Canada, and in terms of their goal to make it into the top 25 and be one of those top 5 Canadian schools, I think they're on their way to getting that done, Cash.
It's look, the first week or two, and it is early on, but like you said, this kind of gameplay, if you can start to replicate it, translate it week to week, they're most definitely not only a threat maybe for one of the top schools in Canada, but again, they look like they have a very high ceiling, and they could, you know, be threatened to poise and get into that top 25 nationally. And it'll be exciting to watch this team grow. And like you said, for Canadore, they'll continue working at it until about week 4, right, when you get split up and can kind of get to a more level-headed position with teams of your caliber. That's not at all to say they're a bad team or going to be placed in a bad division, but again, you can see strides that they need to improve on. And again, I think as they start to get closer to that divisional split, they're going to get good reps where they start to feel themselves out and maybe find their identity a little more.
No, I agree, and I'm looking forward to seeing both teams back on stream in the future here of CCL 2025. But folks, we're going to head to a break here on the stream, and we'll be back after with Conestoga versus Edinburgh. We stick with the Canadian team, and I'm looking forward to seeing this team take the mainstream here for College COD. We'll see you on the other side with some more action soon.